In our last session, we were talking about choosing a research topic, and we also need to think about, yes, we can choose a topic, but whether this topic is like a quality research topic, and if we have a good research topic, do we have a proper research question? And do we find relevant literature so we can review properly? So this is a session we will talk about the purpose of literature review and how to find relevant literature. And further, we will follow the section to talk about evaluating literature. So literature review is an analytical summary of existing body of research in light of particular research problem or questions. So basically, the literature review is not just about like reading a newspaper. Okay, I had a good time. I read a newspaper and then I forget. The literature review is help you to review multiple information and resources, and then you would have some analytical summary to talk about what is the research is about, and that research is surrounding particular issues, problems. So in the literature review, as a researcher or manager would be able to describe the situation, evaluate and clarify what is the subject area. So let me give you an example. I have a student. He say nowadays after COVID-19, every company have a digital transformation. So all the company using digital technology. Okay, so he got the keywords, digital technology. Then he said he would like to know what is a business development turn out to be. Therefore, he has a subject related to how, digital technology affect the business development. Okay, so that is a topic and also appear like a research question. So the question is how digital technology affect the development of business or affect the business development. And then when I look at the topic, yes, it's in a field of digital technology, is also related to the construct of business development. Then the follow-up question, then I would think, yes, digital technology, there are so many types. Are we talking about the old days? In the old day, we could talk about, social media. We can talk about email advertisements. We could talk about internet, like websites or Twitters or, Instagram, etc., etc. And he said, no, I'm actually looking for the B2B and I want to looking for something new. So all this digital technology, or back to the histories, become the history, saying social media, Facebook, Twitter, they are dated. So he said the digital technology he is interested is more about AI, ChatGPT, or metaverse, etc., etc. And then I said, okay, now it's more defined. It is a different type of digital technology. So it's more refined. Then he was talking about business development. And then the question is, what is business development? So therefore, he need to further define what is a business development. He said, I'm interested in market expansion. I'm interested in relationship retention. I'm interested in product development, new product development. Therefore, when he talk about his research question, how digital technology affect the development of business, that kind of a research question may turn out to be a bit broad, that you probably know, yeah, that's something, but it's what exactly it is about. Therefore, when you are developing your research question, like last time we say, choose a research topic, choose the area to do. Then therefore, when we're looking for something we think it could be new as a new terminology, digital technology, then it involves so many things. And how can we try to look into the more specific elements? And then we will say, okay, before COVID or the old age, or new time of digital technology. So that could be some kind of separation of digital technology. And in some other context, some people say digital technology is a CRM model. So therefore, they could be gigantic. It could be a term that using in all domain, and that kind of domain, it becomes gigantic. And if you do have, a gigantic term like a digital technology or business development, the literature review is going to be a huge amount. You probably dig out the internet, you dig out the email, you dig out social media, you dig out AI, you dig out Twitter, whichever, and then you start to think about, wow, that's a B2B, there are B2C, or business development, there are so many domains, and then you get lost. You can't clarify. So it would be very important when we think about develop a research topic, and are we able to find a good research topic. So when we talk about after we have the topic, of course, we need to dig out information, not like a reading newspaper. We're probably reading a lot of information online. So the purpose of having literature review as a first stage, we need to have idea what kind of the key theories we are looking at. Do we have an argument about, something we say, yeah, we are looking for new technology. The old digital technology is not about email. So what's the argument behind it? And what is the controversy in the field? And possibly you say, well, it's all digital technology. I don't think anything in conflict. But what the people will say, well, but if you talk about B2B and B2C, that could be different approach of doing that. And then you start to see some, convergence and divergent use of the tool. With that way of thinking, it would be highlighted way how can you investigate the context, investigate your research up to date. So it would be very important in your literature. The purpose of literature review is help you to identify what is inconsistency and the gaps in the knowledge, what happened in the past that worth further for investigation. So what we mentioned here, like a purpose of literature review, first of all, what's the theory we are using? So sometimes when the student talking about the AI, they probably talk about technology, task, fit theory, or sometimes they have another theory about relationship management because they're looking for the business development, looking for customer retention. So it could be social capital theory. And then they start to look in the way of what's the up-to-date. Are we still looking for the dinosaur age, looking at the email advertisement? And that could be a B2C. Or are we looking for CRM model? Or are we looking for what's more advanced AI, how we integrate in the CRM? And what's the consistency or inconsistency, and what's the gap that worth to go further? The gap could be, you can look into, okay, we can use in the environmental condition, COVID as a kind of gap before COVID and after COVID, or before the digital transformation and after digital transformation. So in that regard, you will be able to find a good gap, and then you can find what's the inconsistency. Of course, in the literature review, you probably need to have some kind of a concept. And that concept, like last time we talked about mind map, you may have a keywords about it. So I give you another example. This is maybe in a field in the organizational behavior. Some people want to look into creativity. Maybe in the product design, they need a creativity as a teamwork. So when they're looking for creativity, they start to look into what are the factors influence creativity. So they're probably looking for, okay, what's the firm level? Does a firm provide resources? Does the firm suppressing it? Does the firm supporting it? What are the sector? Is it R&D, semiconductors, textile, or food industry, or tourism, or what else? And what is the individual level? Is it about the salesperson, or is it about the entrepreneur, or is about, maybe some kind of a business developer, which they also involve in the transition, or they could be expats, which is they work in a different country. So that could be some kind of individual level they are looking at. So there could be some kind of factor would affect the creativity into the micro level, meso level, and macro level, and the context in terms of industry. So what kind of key definition relate to the creativity? Of course, when we have a topic, we need a definition. Like earlier, I mentioned about digital technology. What is digital technology? When talk about business development, what is business development? But here we talk about creativity. What do we mean creativity? And some people say creativity is get a new idea. Some people's creativity could be innovation, or in some kind of law, they have a patent protected in area. They may say creativity is to do with invention. That's something brand new, so innovative, or something as a novelty, or something so-called new design, which means like a packaging change, maybe like a mobile case. You have blue and you have a red, and you have a different feeling of it, or you have some kind of a decoration on top of it, become a new design, which is totally different from a new invention. So that kind of definition of creativity could be very defined on what you are looking at, and how can you create a category, or how do you further to frame your context properly. So therefore, that means if you have a topic, you also need to think about, I have keywords. What could be help me to narrow down? So as I mentioned about, you need to have a gap. So you will have a gap to understand what could be a dividing point, or what could be something missing. Some people probably mentioned about, well, the ChatGPT is a very smart innovation, blah, blah. And then what about when people using ChatGPT unethically? In terms of, for example, student using ChatGPT doing the report, and then they just ask the ChatGPT to generate the outcome, and they just copy paste. Is that really something become a good performance, or they being manipulated in the wrong way? So the gap could be to do with the ethic use of ChatGPT. That could be the gap. Therefore, when we are looking for the research topic, we always looking for what's the quality of research topic. Research topic, what is a research question as well. So the research is developed from and supported by some theory. Instead of you thinking, I'm just interested about AI affects the business development, and then people say, okay, what theory you're looking at, and what actually you are looking in terms of field. And many people say, I don't know, I just want to see what's the business development, and then you get lost. People get lost of your interest because they don't know what you're looking at. But if you turn to be more specific, you say, I want to know whether the ChatGPT can provide a better business service to the customer. So I want to look in for relationship domain of the theory. So probably I will look into the trust related theory, whether people find me able to be trusted or trustworthy. And therefore, probably looking for the service domain, whether the ChatGPT can provide emotional choice of words to make people have an empathic words response in the customer service. So this kind of either ChatGPT or AI service, it could become a way of let you to define depth and further about your research questions, and what is objective flaw can help you to be more specific and more rigorous for your research design. Otherwise, when people start to think about, earlier, like a digital technology, you probably turn out digging out maybe 15 type of digital technology. And then when you talk about business development, you may dig out 30 type of area you want to look into. And then, of course, if you have a research topic like that, I would say good luck with you, because you probably need to take 40 years of research to get the answer out of it, because you get lost, and then you may end up with like a 50 topic inside that. It could be over time being dated. So therefore, continuing, how can we make our quality research topic is highly to do with, do we have resources in our research process? What do we mean resources? What kind of time do we have? What kind of, how long do we have in our research? Or do we have funding to support our research? Or do we have some kind of limitation in terms of what do we expect to contribute? Do we have some independence, or do we need to follow a certain guidance under a certain operation? Sometimes you may doing the research within the organization, and the company will say you have to conduct the research in my company with my people, and then whether they create bias or not, or whether that is a good resource because you can actually looking a more specific topic and end up with finding more a solution to a problem within the company, but it could not be transferable into another company. So this is some kind of a quality research topic that you guys need to think when you conduct research is about how long I'm going to do it. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. And then it will have a totally different kind of time frame and different kind of questions. And then the questions will lay to about the outcome, the process. And therefore, you need to have a research that based on the time frame, you think about the research question that is actually more specific, more achievable, then you can actually get the outcome. Otherwise, you're probably doing the halfway and get very frustrated and don't know what to do. So in terms of doing the literature, the literature review, it means that to support your research topic, you need some support. The literature support from what you want to know from the past. So if you are interested to know about how digital technology affect the relationship, you probably need to dig out some kind of more recent time of publication and try to look into maybe AI, maybe it's so new, haven't appeared in a journal, which I'm sure it's already appeared in the journal articles, but it may appear in various kind of magazines or periodic publication, or even some newspaper or some kind of corporate level newsletter to talk about that kind of information. So the literature review help you as a kind of support to look into what was the past, and also help you to identify, okay, these papers say yes, AI is a very smart design, but this paper say don't do too much of AI because it's going to create new code and create damage your system. And therefore, that's from IT perspective. So you start to looking maybe from marketing perspective, from the IT perspective, from maybe human resource perspective. You start to looking for some kind of discrepancy and what could be the flaw from what this previous literature has said, and help you to outline what could be the gap in the knowledge about certain topic. And therefore, it can help you to know what kind of research context you're looking to. Maybe sometimes you're looking for the a context about, okay, I'm looking for the medical field about hospital patient, doctor-patient consultation, because that could be tremendous to have a breakthrough through the AI support, but also could be very life-threatening. So that could be some kind of a case in the hospital management or the medical field that make people think about that could be an interesting research context, and also help you to refine the topic, indicate what is a kind of a research topic that is adding value to the field, and also justify what has done in the past instead of why you say it's done. So it's something about a record to provide you to justify, yeah, it's been told, it's been done, and show here it is. Therefore, I'm using the knowledge on top of what's the publication to create the argument, either support my thoughts or against something that I intend to do, but I show some discrepancy and to create a gap of literature. So this is a way of showing what could be the research undertaken to make sure you are not doing something repetitive, and something has been done. Because sometimes you may be very interested in the topic, but it already been done in the past. And so therefore you may no longer require to do, because they already got lots of answer to the problem you think of, and maybe your idea is considered not really up to date. So literature review here is a quick look, is about supporting what is done in the past, identifying what's done in the past, and help you to outline what could be the knowledge, so you will be able to become analytical. So through the analysis, you can have a clear research context. So therefore, you have a better topic, and then you can indicate what is a project you intend to do with a justification that ensure this is something new and something interesting worth doing. So literature review in the research process is considered the beginning stage. Although we talk about beginning stage, could be to do with finding a topic or glance or bits of information or encounter a problem. But with that kind of situation, then you have to go through literature review. Then you probably have some kind of question. They already instead of a very broad question, it become refined question. You already got problem, but that problem is not a question. The problem is something you know is a problem, but question is a more detailed to the problem, is more specific, something unique, something more specific to the problem. Sometimes some people say, okay, my people in the company are not motivated in work, so it's lack of motivation. But the research question, it could be why people are demotivated. It's not about that. The research question, some people for HRM is about mental health being under the organization system as a major issue to look into, and then they make it consider, does a meditation help the mental health issue? So that could be a kind of research question people do. And after that, you have data collection and analyze data, you discuss, and you have a conclusion for that. So with that kind of a process, of course, we need a literature review. So what could be the relevant literature? So relevant of literature, I think most of people, you already do a lot of literature in searching whatever, maybe find a best plan of internet plan, or what could be the best value for the purchasing a car, or looking for what could be the best trip in a budget time. So that could be all literature you have done. So you probably understand the literature is about try to get an overview of a field. And actually, so you are fishing around information you can. And this kind of fishing around information could be all kinds. First, you could looking for the idea, probably think about, I'm really interested in IT. I'm really interested in IT and the industry. And the topic about IT could be ChatGPT in business development, and that could be some kind of type. And in the IT industry, I'm looking at, because it's something like a coincide. And where do I look for it? So you probably search on internet, or you have other resources to do. And then think about what could be the queries that you want to come up with. And then what could be some other searching skill you have. So it's looking for what we're looking at, where we're looking at, and how we're looking at it. Because sometimes you probably think about, I can search on Google, but what are the keywords? And after you search in Google, they maybe list out the thousands of sources to look at, and then you probably get lost. So first of all, in searching for literature, probably people will think about, I can go to a library, and the library, they have categorized things. So I can just simply go to the library to looking for some idea, maybe looking for the new service. And probably you go to new service, you probably find in operational management. You're probably looking for in the new service in the marketing. And sometimes they could be in the corporate strategy. So you gradually define in the field by the keywords, and then you probably think about, is this something in this field I'm actually interested? Even the keyword is the right way of looking, and then probably you gradually dig into further about the right area. And also, if you are not, what we talk about the subject in the library, and also you have an online catalog. So the online catalog, probably you have a journal article. So sometimes the journal article, you probably look into, I'm going to Science Direct. And Science Direct, they probably have a lot of information related to the marketing area. operational management or marketing management, this domain, and that to do with the management area that you are actually interested. But if you are looking for a different journal bank resource, the journal bank is a kind of academic journal supply. Some people are looking for psychologists, and that could be a different journal list instead of Science Direct. And some people are more looking to the specific about service, and then they probably go to another journal, like a journal of service research, something like that. So that could become a category of a publisher, and then under the publisher you have more specific field you're interested in, and through using those online catalog you probably start to find, I think that touched my point, and I can use in Google as a searching engine, or Yahoo, or sometimes you probably use Bing now, because Bing you have AI support. Appear the Bing seems more relevant to show the sources. And in addition to that, not just Google, you're probably looking for Google Scholar, because Google Scholar you can help you to get the journal directly, or a ResearchGate. Sometimes you get the ResearchGate website and find out some journal, and you can access straight away without paying top dollars for accessing the journal article. So that is something to help you to find the journal. And also you can look into the author who publish in the journal. Do they have a similar area of the publication? And then you probably think about, the author, I like the way of the writing, or the area is quite close to my interest, and maybe I can look for the information that published in the past or currently, and then maybe have a more relevant area to look into at once. And sometimes in the journal article they also suggest where else the relevant topic to look into. So this is a kind of way of searching your research topic, and also you can share what's the idea. What happened to me and my colleague. Sometimes we are not having plenty of time to dig into the journals or digging out the database while we are working on other projects. And what we do is we gather over the lunchtime and we start to talk with each other what you're doing and current interest is topic and what do you think. And they probably hear something and tell you what they heard about some conference they have attended. So because we all visit different kind of conferences and say, that's some kind of website they promote this new topic of a conference. Maybe you can consider going that conference to listen to other people's idea. Or sometimes you can share with your colleague and everyone say, I read lots of article about that. It's fairly niche, so you need to be careful because it's niche. It could be a good inspiration, but at the same time your literature support could be very tight, so be aware of your challenge. So sometimes your idea may be from your colleague, maybe from somebody you speak with, and sometimes they will show you, sometimes they say, I have some ideas, some paper I sent to you, so they probably send you a link or send you the journal. So what we talked about earlier, we always mention about the keywords. So the keywords is to do with identify, earlier we have this map, the mind map, like this, relate to the keywords. And now how can we develop the topic? Over the keyword, you can see some overlapping, and then the major area could be the gap of research, and that could be the key research topic as a kind of quality research topic you can look into. So in design your literature search, it would be important to looking for search engine. And maybe it would be much better if you can use the more advanced style of search interface using and or not in your search words. So if you are interested in so-called innovation and creativity, you probably say innovation and creativity in maybe IT industry, something like that. I don't know, depends what kind of industry you're looking at or general area. And then if you are particularly interested in innovation and creativity, but not new design, because design in some other study, they don't consider as an innovation. So you can say innovation and creativity, not new design. And therefore you can filter your research area and make it more refined and reduce your time of reading through some information. And also you can find some articles in the research topic from the database. So that's what I mentioned about the Science Direct or Web of Science or Business Source Premier. This is a kind of topic and paper you can use the database to access. And also there are snowballing tracing citation. So they will show the online database or library catalog. I mentioned about review articles or what kind of citation. So sometimes you can look into references. Any article, when they publish, you always go down to the last part is called references. And that kind of references will tell you what kind of paper or article they use. And you can see, this article relevant to me. Or sometimes you see the article say, yeah, I'm actually looking for the business management, and this article is from psychology, and I'm not sure whether it's relevant to me. It's going to take me far away from the field. So maybe that's not a right way of doing that. The other one is other source and the networking. So you can go to the conferences or some kind of academic association like AON or BAM. That's some people attend. Or that's people go for conference to create network with other researchers, and also some kind of a networking website like a ResearchGate I mentioned earlier, academia website, LinkedIn. Some people are using their publication or bridge the new idea through the LinkedIn, or Twitter. Some people like to tweet to talk about. So all these kind of journal article, they have some peer-reviewed journals. Not all journal is considered good, because journal article also considered the practitioner journal or academic journal. The practitioner journal, maybe the most common one is Harvard Business Review. That could be something you find familiar as a practitioner journal. But the other so-called peer-reviewed journal article, which means they go through a very strict reviewing process by the people who are in that field, in that topic of research. They know how to give you the feedback, what's went wrong, what's missing, what's lack of clarification through those review process, and people can publish from that kind of a peer review journal. They also consider academic journal with the resources. So here is another example when I mentioned a peer-reviewed journal. That could be UTD list, which means it's a top-notch journal globally in the business school. There could be only like 15 journals there, something like that, or in the ABS journal list. For example, the ABA journal list, they also show you the rank of journal. They have a 4-star, which is considered high rank. 4-star plus is super high rank, and 4-star high rank, and then 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. And those are considered peer review. But 1-star journal, maybe people start not to think about is considered valuable. 2, 3, people still like it, but 4-star people really consider is a very critical reference for them. They must use because they have go to very rigid and strict process. The other thing is go to the books. Easy. People find books could be valuable because they could be more structured. And journal, they have a writing structure, but book is also structured. And some kind of non-publishing, but it's a working paper or thesis. You can have a look and get some idea. Sometimes a website or blog by researcher that's been publishing a lot, or some kind of a gray area of publication in terms of by the government, or some people looking for sustainability. They need to look into the government records and about the carbon emission information. That could be considered the gray area of literature. So this is the kind of information you can consider in terms of literature sources. So here is an example to show you what are the top ranking journals. So you can have a look, like Accounting Review or Information System Research, MIS Quarterly, Consumer Research, or Academic Management Review, or all this area, depends, Operational Management. So this is a website link, you can access it to see what are the top journals. So when you read a journal, you can trust them so well because they have lots of effort to make the journal published in terms of very strict data analysis or data collection and writing. The other one is the ABS list. This is a website you can see is charted to show you the rank. And so in terms of the literature you use, sometimes you may go through 100 literature. So how do you organize data? Which means the literature you download, you cited, you can using this reference tool like EndNote, which is commonly used, or Mendeley, or Zotero. I use it often in my to link with my browser and Word document. So the criteria to show what are considered the good source of literature. First, looking about where to publish. Are they credible? Are they from ABA list? Are they from the UTD rank? Are they from peer-reviewed journal? Are they appear timeless that people quote it all the time? It's like a must-have, like a Darwin theory. People use it all the time, no matter it's nowadays or the old days. People use it all the time. Or what could be the authorship? Some other kind of a lead of the area. People really respect the person, so they probably quote the person all the time. So in terms of how you identify your research problem from your research, you also need to think about, okay, do I have a very clear research problem that I can state concisely? Is this significant, or is just trivial? Or is that very up to date? And so I also explore the problem and also can provide some kind of a conclusion to the problem to find some answer for it. So for doing the research, you also need to make a proposal, because a research question is always think about, do I have a good proposal to show people it's a good research topic? Is this research realistic? Is also a way that help me to know how to write? So therefore, when you do the research proposal, when you conduct your develop your research literature review, research questions development, you probably need to think about, what's my title? What could be the introduction, the abstract I can use? What's the goal? And what's the objective I'm going to choose? And what could be justification of the way I conduct it? And what are the literature I review? Do I have a good research question or some hypotheses? What kind of methodology I'm going to use? Do I have a timeline to develop it? And what are the reference? And what could be the limitation of my research? Because every research got limitation, and what are the relevant material I have to use to conduct this research. So this is a major area to do with literature review. In our next session, we will talk about evaluating literature.